I had a few people asking about J and L cuts and how to like automate it or how to make it the best, or, you know, what tips are for that. And I just want to say J and L cuts are an important, like, basic fundamental of video editing that you need to learn what is in order to, you know, build upon that for additional video editing work, but don't overuse it. There's this trend, and I don't want to talk down on too many people here or whatever, but the trend when it comes to internet education about any subject, photography, videography, coding, probably anything really, is because people come to it from a I'm going to learn through tutorials perspective rather than going to school for it or proper training or whatever. A lot of YouTubers get away with treating basic, 101 level fundamental things that you would read in your first book or see in your first class session if you took school for it as this, profound thing, just because a lot of people who aren't professionally trained didn't know about it, and acts like it's this game-changing thing. And J and L cuts are this thing where, like, every video editing tips and tricks video from people who are just getting started are going to tell you you need J and L cuts to make your video better, and it's the best thing in the world, and it's all very overblown. It is a basic tool that you should use in certain circumstances and not make, like some people say, you should replace every jump cut with the J and L cut, and that's just not true, especially, again, on YouTube, where jump cuts are kind of part of the culture. Jump cuts used to be this big forbidden taboo that you should never do. Now it's part of the culture. It's kind of expected. It's part of the fun of keeping that pace thing. People also say you should cut out every possible pause and gap, and that is a very bad idea when it comes to, like, facilitating learning and attention spans and things like that. So don't do that either. You don't really need to learn. You don't really need to use them that often. It's only cool in certain situations. I will say it makes way more sense in most cases with, like, a talking headshot like this to overlay your cuts with some B-roll or some screen capture or some product photos, something referencing what you're seeing. If you're having to cut up your talking head part that much, your talking head part shouldn't be showing that much. So you shouldn't really have the opportunity to use J and L cuts that often. In my, again, professional opinion of editing for 15 plus years now and a multitude of different editors, and I was the video editor for my college newspaper. Like, I have some degree of experience here. Don't use them that much. But someone also asked if you can automate that in some way. I guess like applying it like a transition. And I don't know of any way you can, and really it doesn't make sense to, because you want to time the degree to which your J and your L tuck under and over each other based on the specific scenario you're working with. There's no exact setting you should use every single time. It doesn't really make sense. So you should just hold Alt and drag your clip over the next one. Again, I recommend just doing J and L cuts with just B-roll and not your A-roll.